The film starts with video clips recorded by Karla Dyson of her baby boy Frankie. The clips go on over the years as Frankie gets older, with Karla enjoying every minute with him. In the present, Karla is a single mother that works as a waitress at a diner to support herself and Frankie. She has to deal with obnoxious customers while being short-staffed, including a family whose son whines about wanting hash browns, and a couple where the girlfriend is rude and impatient with Karla. Karla's boss says he has called another waitress to come help so she and Frankie can leave to spend the day together. Karla takes Frankie to the park. While he runs around the playground, they play Marco Polo. The two then sit down to watch a show in the park when Karla gets a phone call. She leaves Frankie on the bench with his recording toy. Karla talks to her lawyer, who tells her that her ex-husband wants full custody of Frankie. When Karla tries to argue against this, her call gets dropped. When she goes back to the bench, Frankie isn't there. Karla asks other parents if they have seen him while she goes around shouting Marco repeatedly. Karla then goes to the parking lot and sees a woman pulling a screaming Frankie into a green Ford Mustang. Karla runs to the car and clings to the side until she falls off and her phone falls out of her bag. Karla hops in her minivan and chases after the other car. They ride through the parkway where the Mustang causes some accidents. Karla tries to alert other drivers to the incident once she realizes she's lost her phone. The woman's desperate move involves dropping a toolbox, diverting Karla's attention. As Karla nears, the kidnappers threaten Frankie, forcing Karla onto an alternate path. She persists, trailing them off the parkway. Listening to the recording toy, Frankie hears Margot the kidnapper's name. Karla's heart sinks as she realizes the manipulation. Spotting a police officer on a motorcycle, she resorts to erratic driving, hoping to catch his attention. Every second feels like an eternity as she tries to convey the urgency of the situation. The officer's gaze flickers towards her and Karla's heart leaps with hope. She signals frantically, hoping he understands the gravity of the situation. In a tense exchange, she conveys the essence of the unfolding crisis, pleading for his assistance in rescuing her son from the clutches of the kidnappers. The officer rides up and tells Karla to pull over, but once he gets between Karla and the kidnappers, the villains pin the officer between both cars and cause him to crash his motorcycle in a ditch. The kidnappers pull over onto a grassy field, and Karla stops too. The male kidnapper, Terrence Vicky, steps out with his knife and runs toward Karla. She reverses her car until Terrence runs out of breath. Karla drives toward him as he runs, but she doesn't strike him. Karla offers him money in return for Frankie but also promises she won't stop looking for her son as long as he is in the car. After Terrence runs back to the car, Margot goes to Karla's minivan and calmly tells her that she wants $10,000 in exchange for Frankie's safe return. She orders Karla to let her ride in the minivan so they can follow Terrence, or he will kill Frankie. Karla reluctantly lets Margot inside. Karla follows Terrence's car. As they go through a tunnel, Margot attacks Karla. Karla is able to fight her off and throw her out of the minivan. Karla takes Margot's jacket to give Terrence the impression she's still riding in the van. As Karla continues to follow, Terrence eventually figures that Margot is no longer with her, so he threatens to drop Frankie out of his car, forcing Karla to slow her pursuit. Karla loses Terrence's car for a while. She passes a family fishing and tells them to call the cops on a green Ford Mustang. She then spots an accident he caused that led to a traffic jam. She drives through the field and runs to the car, only to see that Terrence and Frankie are gone. One of the people in the accident tells Karla where Terrence was running off to with the boy. Karla runs to a nearby police station to report the kidnapping. The officer at the desk brushes Karla off, instructing her to wait. As she waits anxiously, her eyes fall upon pictures of other missing children, some whose disappearances stretch back over a decade. Dread clenches at Karla's heart, fearing Frankie might suffer a similar fate. Unable to bear the thought of inaction, she resolves to continue the search alone. Passing by a parking lot, she spots a black Volvo speeding out, recognizing it as Terrence. Determination fuels her pursuit until Terrence's recklessness results in him striking a pedestrian. Panic grips Karla as she witnesses the chaos unfold. Reacting swiftly, she positions her own car to block an oncoming vehicle, narrowly averting a potentially disastrous collision. In the turmoil, her singular focus remains on apprehending Terrence and rescuing Frankie from harm's way. She continues to chase after Terrence, but her car is running out of fuel. Karla then spots an authority vehicle on the road and tries to hitch a ride, only for Terrence to ram into the car, killing the other driver and knocking Karla unconscious. When Karla comes to, she runs to the Volvo but doesn't find Frankie in there. Terrence emerges and proceeds to shoot at her. Karla runs back in the car with Terrence trying to cling on. Karla lets the car go in reverse into the woods, with Terrence getting pierced by multiple branches until the car hits a tree. Karla questions Terrence over Frankie's whereabouts, but he dies. She then gets his wallet out and learns his name, plus his home address, thinking Frankie might be there. Karla drives to Terrence's house. She finds pictures of Terrence and Margot, indicating they were married. Karla sneaks around as Margot is there. Margot talks on the phone to an accomplice over where Terrence is and how Karla has become a problem for their operation. Margot leaves the house, and Karla makes her way to find Frankie. She calls the police, and the operator says that officers will arrive within 7 to 15 minutes. Karla runs to a nearby barn where she finally finds Frankie. To her surprise, Frankie is there with 2 other abducted girls. Karla gets Frankie out but has to run when Margot returns. Margot appears to realize that Terrence is dead. Karla and Frankie run by the lake. Margot sicks her dog on Karla, but she and Frankie are hiding under the docks. Karla creates a diversion by letting a small boat sail across the water to make Margot think she is there. Margot shoots at it, but then sees Frankie under the dock. She tries to shoot the boy, but Karla pulls Margot underwater. After a struggle, Karla stabs Margot and lets her drown. Karla goes back to the barn for the other 2 girls. A neighbor, Dell, enters the barn with a shotgun after hearing commotion. Karla tells him that Terrence and Margot kidnapped children, though Dell claims they wouldn't do that, having known them for over a decade. Dell calls to the children and refers to them as girls before Karla says that she never told him they were girls. Realizing he is part of the kidnappings, Karla swings a shovel at Dell's face and kills him before he turns his gun on her. The police arrive and bring Karla and the kids out safely. The movie ends here. Thanks for watching.